Hi, my name's Phil. Welcome to the preview event for the Institute for Sport and Education. So I'm going to talk you through all things about what exactly is the Bede Institute for Sport and Education, and also going to talk to you about the different sports academies. If you do have any questions, please just put them in the Q&A and I'll answer them at the end. So what is the Bede Institute for Sport and Education? So it is the combination of studying either full-time A-level programme or sport and public services combined with one of our sports academies. We also have the TAS element as well to it, which is the Talented Athlete Scholarship Scheme. So we are an accredited dual career centre for TAS athletes. So if you are competing at county, regional or national level, we can really support you with some fantastic things in terms of strength and conditioning support, nutrition advice, free physiotherapy treatment, trips to Durham University to link in with their sports science department and S&C experts. So some really good opportunities there. Ideal for those that tend to have like individual sports. So if you are a runner, a swimmer, a tennis player, etc., that's a really good opportunity to kind of help you progress on, as well as getting free gym membership as well, so you can train alongside your studies. So that's kind of like the key elements of it, and we really do have a really supportive network in place of qualified members of staff to understand that if you are competing at that high level, that we do understand the pressures that you have with significant amount of training, competing regularly in high pressure environments, as well as the difficulty with studying A-levels alongside it, or one of the full-time programs, because it tends to be a difficult couple of years, and we need to respect that. And we do have the members of staff that do have the knowledge and expertise to give you the best advice. So if we think about the sports academy side of it, we've got a fully functioning men's football academy, a women's football academy, and we've got a new launched academy as well for this coming September in rugby. So the men's programme, the women's programme looks similar in the fact that they get 2 90-minute sessions, football training sessions a week. So one 90-minute session on a Monday, another 90-minute session on a Tuesday, with games on a Wednesday afternoon. In addition to that, there's the opportunity to get some physiotherapy treatment as well on site at the college from a sports injury specialist in James Ross. There's 3 hours there, so there's 6 30-minute sessions which are open for students to come and sign up for and get some treatment. It might be that you've got a specific injury problem that's ongoing. It might be something fresh from the game on the Wednesday afternoon, or if you're competing for a local club, or it might be the fact that you just need a rub down because the volume of training that you're having is causing some tightness and things like that. In addition to that as well, we've got a strength and conditioning coach, which will run weekly S&C sessions. So right at the start of the year, do some pre-season screening and testing, and then put a bespoke program in place so that you can obviously improve your fitness throughout the season and get you in the best shape possible. That's mirrored for both the men's side of it and the women's side of it. The rugby program's new as well, but again, we'll follow a very, very similar model and approach, in the fact that there'll be 2 90-minute sessions on those Mondays, Monday and Tuesday, games on a Wednesday afternoon, as well as having all of that opportunity to get booked in with the physiotherapist, as well as the S&C sessions. So that's kind of how that's looking. In terms of what I would like to do kind of moving forward with this is introduce Nicole and Brooke, who have been a part of the football academy this year. So everyone welcome. So Brooke and Nicole. These 2 girls have been on the BTEC Sport and Exercise Science programme this year, and have obviously been a part of the women's football programme. Nicole, if I come to you first, how have you found the course in terms of your sport and exercise science course?
Really interesting. Obviously, when signing up to it, you just expect obviously a lot of sport and studies like what you do in school, but it's more of like anatomy, really good, really interesting, all about body. Nutrition, you learn like loads about the food you eat. You learn a lot in the gym, with modules in the gym. and a lot of like psychology behind football players, all athletes, which is really interesting as well. That was a really interesting module.
What do you think your favourite module out of all?
That would probably be anatomy.
Probably anatomy.
Yeah, really good.
Have you found it then, Brooke, as a course overall? Have you found sport and exercise science?
I found it really fun and enjoyable for the past 1.5 years. From a different aspect to Nicole, your class probably stays the same throughout like your whole time here at college. So you get really close to your classmates and you work well in different groups, different assignments, through presentations and practical assignments like coaching and things like that.
Cool. And what is your favourite unit?
I also liked anatomy, but psychology was really good. You don't learn about that as much in like GCSE PE. So looking at how the mind works and how that affects your performances.
Cool. I mean, both Nicole and Brooke are studying their full-time sport and exercise science programme. So there is the option to study A levels and still be a part of one of the sports academies, whether that is the women's football, the men's football, or the rugby programme as well. So you don't necessarily have to do full-time sport and exercise science like Brooke and Nicole have done. So there is that flexibility as well. Doesn't matter what study programme you choose at Bede, there is an opportunity to get involved in any of the programmes that I've mentioned. Let's talk a little bit about the football specifically then. But if I come to you first, how have you found the coaching side of it?
It was really good coaching, obviously twice a week and the games. Coaching was really fun, enjoyable, different sessions as well. It wasn't just you were doing the same thing every week. Obviously we've got indoor and outdoor, so we've got both facilities to work with. Indoor more to do like the futsal side of things and more technical, and outdoors when you can really do pattern work and more like shooting and stuff like that.
Cool. How about you, Nicole? Any else to add? You know, the coaching side of it, is it something you've really enjoyed?
Yeah, exactly what Brooke said. But especially like, obviously she said that we're all in a class together if you do full-time sport. Mm-hmm. And with that football, you're obviously meeting the A levels, mixing with people that you wouldn't usually in your sports classes, and then with the coaching part, yeah.
So it's an opportunity to make maybe a few more friends than what you would normally do on just your full-time BTEC. Cool. How did you find sort of balancing? Because obviously we didn't have the girls' footy programme in the first year of your studies, but we did in the second year. How did you find balancing your assignment work and all of the things that come with the full-time BTEC programme with your extra commitments to training weekly, obviously games weekly? How did you find that balance? Both from you first.
Well, our timetable fit like really well around it, and yeah, we did do a lot of assignments and obviously coursework based, but having football obviously just took you away from it all. It's a nice break, and then you go back to the coursework. So yeah, it's really good.
How did you find it, Brooke?
Yeah, had to find like more time in the second year. Time management was a bigger thing with obviously the football, but like Nicole said, it worked really well, and you just have to use your free periods a bit more wisely than we probably did in our first year.
Okay, good. Yeah, good point. Did you find yourself you improved throughout the season in your football ability, maybe not the academic side? Did you find that when you first came in, obviously, Brooke, I know you play regularly, but did you find yourself improving from September to sort of March time?
I'd say yeah, definitely. Obviously, I've trained with Norton ladies as well, but having two different coaches gives you two different aspects and looks on the game. The coaching styles are obviously very different, so it made me a better like all-round player. Especially with Graham, the coach for our B team. It was all our like responsibility, our training. So we did a lot of ourselves, taking our own warm-ups and having a lot of say in the game. So he wasn't one of them coaches who stand on the sideline, tell you everything to do. He let you work out throughout the game. So if things going wrong, it's down to us to work it out. And he was obviously there to help us do that.
Awesome. What yourself before?
Yeah, Graham was very supportive, and he'd just give us it. So I wouldn't obviously spoon feed us it. He'd be like, no, it's your game. You do it. You play how you want to play it. So he'd give us that bit of freedom as a coach. But training wise, he was like really developing the skills and everything. Yeah.
Shows like it, what about next steps then, Brooke? Obviously, both Nicole and Brooke have finished their BTECs now, so they're year 13 students. What about sort of next steps for you, Brooke?
So my next steps, hopefully, based a lot around football and going to America on scholarship. But we take it that next step further with the physical side. Obviously, Americans are a lot more fitter than theirs in the UK, so I'm hoping to benefit from that side mostly. And
what course are you studying out in America?
I'm carrying on with the exercise science degree, 4-year degree over there, and hopefully I'll come back and it'll be the same as if I went to uni here.
Have you got any like real career aspirations where you want to go, maybe off the back of your exercise science degree? Got any ideas of possible jobs that you might be focusing on, or you kind of just keep your options open?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep my options open a bit, but I like the science side of the sport and the way the body moves, and biomechanics side, I'd really like to learn about that.
Cool, thank you very much. Where I'm just going to kind of go next with it is to just do a very sort of brief look at like an S&C session. So I'm not going to focus it on any sort of movement-based stuff. I'm going to have a slightly different take on mobility and stretching. So one of the latest bits of research we're looking at, instead of just statically stretching or dynamically stretching, it's not really shown that there's massive improvements long-term in terms of muscle physiology. So we don't get any greater strength in those ranges of motion. We don't build any sort of resilience in that muscle tissue, and actually the muscle length just goes back to what it was pre-stretching, and that only takes about 15 minutes. So you stretch for 10 minutes, and then actually in 15 minutes time after that, your muscles shrank back down to the same length as what it was previously, which is kind of just a bit of a waste of time, really. So what we're basically designed today is something called strength in range of motion. So we're going to do a head-to-toe protocol, and then we're going to look at a side split protocol. So main reasons for this, so if you are any sort of running sport, so whether that's football, whether that's rugby, basketball, netball, or actually running, hamstrings get really tight. They're the most common muscle injury that we get in all of those sports, as well as possible issues with calves and Achilles and plantar fasciitis. It's all linked into one. So this is a little protocol that you can do without much equipment, and I can give you some ideas of what you can do as alternative pieces of equipment that you can use. But I'm going to go through these little steps and little stages. So first things first is something called a Jefferson curl. So Nicole, do you want to pick up your so Brooke's going to do it with dumbbells. Nicole's going to do it with a barbell. You're going to basically perch your feet up as if you're on like a curb. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tip forward from head and roll down until the bottom position. So do that now for me, please. As far as you can, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back up for me nice and slowly. Good stuff. Back down, fold round. So ideally we want to keep the legs nice and straight. And back up for me, please. And we want to try and tip each vertebrae down one at a time. Back down for me, please. Once you get down to the lowest position, just hold it for me. And back up. Fantastic. You just want to put your weights down to one side. Introduce your steppers in front. So the idea for that is to basically put the hamstrings and calves on full stretch, but actually have that little bit of weight. Previously, it was a bit of a contraindication, that we shouldn't be doing that, but actually now a lot of research says that that's how we get long-term improvement in muscle tone, muscle physiology, and protects us from injury. So this time, we're going to do like a little bit of a take on a calf raise. So again, if we bridge up, and then put our hands down so they're just touching a box. You could stack a pile of books, whatever you want. And then I want 10 calf raises for me, please, with heels touching after every time. Good. So again, every single time the heels are going back to the floor is causing a nice contraction and a nice stretch on the hamstrings, forcing them not only to lengthen, but to strengthen in that end range. Wonderful. Okay, let's put our steppers to one side for me, please, and we'll move on. And then we're going to do single legs. So literally put our foot as if you were to do like a calf stretch after you've come back from a run. Leg out to the side, and we want to try and get the crown of our head as close as we can to our foot and stretch down. So crown of our head, tip your head a little bit more, Nick, for me. Good. So hold that for 10 seconds. Stay down. I want 10 gentle pulses. So we're just bobbing down very, very slightly. Should start to feel a hamstring, start to twinge. Not a pull, but just a little pulse. Once you've done 10, switch legs for me, please. Good stuff, 10 pulses. Excellent, stand back up. Ideal protocol is exactly those 3 exercises 5 times round. Okay, so, and we're looking to do that twice a week to get some meaningful change in our sort of posterior part of our body. So any tightness in the lower back, any hamstring issues, any calf issues, Achilles, plantar fasciitis, all the way through the back of the body. It's a brilliant, brilliant protocol. Twice a week, 5 times round. How do you find it? Tough?
Yeah.
Tough,
Really
good.
feel the stretch.
Feel the stiff. Okay, good stuff. This time what we're going to do a side split protocol. So again, multi-directional movement sports. So again, sticking with thinking about football, rugby, anything in terms of some of our individual sports as well, in terms of tennis and badminton, etc. Groins are a susceptible area. Okay, so if we overload on one leg, jump into another, we do put a little bit of extra strain on our groins. So we just need to look after them and get some decent strength. So same mindset in terms of end range of motion, with some sort of weight, some sort of strengthening work going on. So side split protocol. We're basically going to stand feet facing forwards, and we're going to go out with the heels. So we're going to go out wide with the heels, point your toes out wide with the heels, point your toes out. So keep your toes pointing out wide. You want to kick your bum back a little bit and sit down into like a wide squat and hold it down there for 4 seconds. So keep those knees pointing out, chest nice and tall, stand back up. Do that 5 times, please. So 4 more reps. Good, drop down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back up. Down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back up. Down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back up. Last one. Down. Have I done an extra rep? My bad. Okay. This time we're going to move on a little bit. A little bit of a strange movement that you may never have done before. Obviously, that's just basically a wide squatting position. So this time we're going to go into take our legs as wide as we possibly can, with toes facing forward, and then I want you to walk your hands down and get up into like a press up position. So wide as you possibly can, get up into a press up position. And then what I want you to do is dip down into a press up position a little bit, and then back up, and then push your hips back. You should start to feel the strength, really good stretch. Come back forwards again for me, please. So we're going to do 5 reps. So again, not only are we trying to get an end range of motion of our groins, keep it going, just do 5 reps, don't wait for me. We're trying to build that strength end range of motion as well. How many we got left? 2 or 1?
Done that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, stand back up for me. Okay, excellent. Now we're going to move on a little bit. So you need your actual setters for me. Stuff. Okay, you can either sit on the floor and do this, or you can again stack it up. You can sit on a cushion, you can sit on some books. It just takes a little bit of pressure off your lower back. This time what I want to do, again, I want feet as wide as we possibly can with toes pointing up. Wide as we possibly can. From that position there, what you're going to do is you're going to take one arm, bridge over to one side. So one arm, bridge over. Good. Hold for 4 seconds. And then other side. So this is a really good stretch for a muscle called the quadratus lumborum. So it's one of the muscles next to your erector spinae that gets overly tight. And then, you don't have to do it twice. Good. And then what I want you to do is I want you to come down in a pancake. So hands come up, go down and go as far as you possibly can. Good. Keep hands dropping, keep hands dropping, keep hands dropping, hands drop, 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 drop. Good stuff. And then release up from it. And then just sit on the actual floor and go into an external rotation stretch. So leg out to the side for me, please. So this way, so we've been working a lot on groin. We just kind of balance it off a little bit with some external rotation stretching as well. And then switch around for me, please. So this stretch you only need to hold for 5 seconds. 4, 5, fantastic. Stand yourself back up. And that's, again, a really, really good sort of side split protocol. So over time, twice a week, the idea is that groins lengthen all the time. And the idea is that you can be able to do an actual side split. There's a few other variations of that as well, which we can do in future time. And obviously, if you're a part of the one of the sport academies with your S&C sessions, you get to learn a little bit more about these sort of methods to improve your physical fitness and well-being. How's the side split protocol compared to head to toe protocol? Any different? Feel it in your groins?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's different to what you normally do as well.
Yeah.
It's not just the average stretching.
No, and it's not designed to be. Obviously, research advances. We have to keep on top of the latest methods for improving fitness. So that's just a very brief kind of few little protocols that you can do at home. There's not much kit. You can swap the barbell and the dumbbells for cans of beans. You can do whatever you want. You can hold some books just to get that little bit of extra resistance to help your muscles kind of understand where you're going with this, and you will get some noticeable improvement over time. But yeah, really good for that. Are there any questions, Liv? No questions so far. Okay, fantastic. So thank you very much for tuning in. We'll hopefully see you come enrolment day, where you can sign up officially for your sports academies alongside either an A-level programme or a full-time vocational programme in either sport or public services. Thank you very much.